with your books, rather. We'll be doing the 13th lesson, which is the last lesson now, and it is on page 70. Open your books. The window seat. It is said that thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. That means one single candle. If you bring other candles along, it can light n number of candles. And without any diminishing of light of the first candle which had started lighting the other candles. That means once you are giving, once you are spreading happiness, one single person can make so many people happy just by a nice and kind gesture. And while you're being kind, while you're being helpful, while you are at your giving end, nothing gets reduced from one's own self. This is the basic crux of this lesson when we go through it. There is tremendous happiness in making others happy despite our own situations. Now, irrespective of what situation we are in, if we give ourselves selflessly for the cause of others, we can spread happiness at any cost. Shared grief is half the sorrow, but happiness, when shared, is double. Now, once you are sharing a grief of somebody, if somebody is sad, you sit next to him or her and listen to that person, that grieving person, that sad person. You reduce his grief, you reduce his sadness. दुख बांटने से बंटता है. That means it gets reduced. Whereas खुशियां बढ़ती हैं. And if you spread happiness, you will see one single person, when you went and contacted that person, you spread that happiness to that person. Whereas in a case of a grief, when you are sad and you have a friend or somebody very close to you listening to you, you feel light at heart. That means that sadness has reduced. So, this is what they are saying, that sorrow gets shortened, whereas happiness, it turns out to be in leaps and bounds. Making others happy is one of the best ways to have a great day yourself. It can brighten the world around you. So once you're making an effort to make others happy, that's the biggest thing you can do to make anyone and your own life a worthful one. Okay? So here we are with a nice and lovely story. Once upon a time in Durban, two men, both seriously ill, occupied the same hospital room. One man was allowed to sit up in the bed for an hour each afternoon to help drain the fluid from his lungs. His bed was next to the room's only window. The other man had to spend all his time flat on his bed. The men talked for hours on end. They spoke of their wives and families, their homes, their jobs, their military service, where they had been on a holiday, etc. So now there were two men. It's a story of two men, sick men, who were in the hospital, and they were sharing the same room. Now, out of the two men, one had to lie down on the bed continuously. He couldn't get up. Whatever ailment he was suffering from, he was supposed to lie down completely on bed. Whereas the other man had to get up for 1 hour because there was some fluid which was to be drained from his lungs. So he was closer to the window. His bed was closer to the window. Okay. So this is the setup of the story. You can visualize it. It's so nice. The first paragraph is so explanatory. It is having a visual treat. You can imagine where the bed was, what the person was doing, etc., etc. Every afternoon, when the man in the bed by the window would sit up, he would pass the time by describing to his roommate all the things he could see outside the window. So now, whenever the one man who had this fluid to be taken out from his lungs, whenever he was made to sit, he used to sit next to the window and would describe the scene from the window to the other man. and this had become a ceremony for them every day. The man in the other bed began to live for those 1 hour periods when his world would be broadened by all the activity and color of the world outside. So now this man who could not see the window, who was always supposed to lie down on the bed, used to look forward for this time. He used to cherish the time when his friend used to sit up and watch through the window. So the other man would wait eagerly, and this was his, charm of life. He was living for this 1 hour every day, so that please cancel this wallpaper right now. Please cancel this wallpaper. I don't want this together mode to be activated in any way. Please remove this wallpaper and do not try this, please. Okay. The man in the other bed began to live, yes. The man sat by the window and described his roommate how the window overlooked a park with a lovely lake. Ducks and swans played on water while children sailed their model boats. So now he used to describe the view from outside the window, the man who used to sit. And he used to give a very picturesque description. He used to tell him that there's a park here with a little pond, and children keep playing here. They have their boats here to be put up, and they had a lovely time together, describing the view from the window. The man's roommate on the other side of the room would close his eyes and imagine the picturesque scene. Now, the one who could not get up, he used to listen to the whole thing and he used to imagine everything from the point of view what that man was telling him, the one who could see from the window. So, through his eyes, this man lying on the bed used to visualize things. He used to close his eyes and imagine the scenery outside and live those moments. One warm afternoon, the man by the window described a parade passing by. Though his roommate could not hear the band, yet in his mind's eye he saw the picture of a beautiful parade as portrayed by the man's descriptive words. So now, one fine day, this man who could see from the window, he described that there's a parade going on. And though the other man could not hear the band, but yes, he closed his eyes and he could visualize whatever man was saying. The description of the thing could be felt by the other man. As it seemed appropriate, the other man asked if he could be moved next to the window. Sorry. Days and weeks passed by. One morning, I'm sorry, I missed out. The thought of celebration in the city made him smile. Days and weeks passed by. One morning, the nurse arrived to bring water for their baths, only to find the lifeless body of the man by the window, who had died peacefully in his sleep. She was saddened and called the hospital attendants to take the body away. So now one morning, so days and weeks passed by, and one day what happened when the nurse came in the morning with the bathtubs with water so that they could
गीजर
give sponge and all, he found that the man next to the window was dead. He was peacefully sleeping, asleep for a long lasting sleep. That is, he was dead. So she called for the attendants so that the body could be removed from there. Please close the mic. Please close the mic, or do you want me to check who's doing that? Once I'll check, I'll definitely call out the name of that child. Okay. As soon as it seemed appropriate, the other man asked if he could be moved next to the window. The nurse was happy to make the switch, and after making sure he was comfortable, she left him alone. So now, once this person was dead, the man next to the window was dead, the other man gradually asked if he could be allowed to switch over his bed to a different side and if he could, you know, occupy the place next to the window. To this, the things were listened and he was granted. He was shifted to the other side where the bed was next to the window. Slowly, painfully, he propped himself up on one elbow to take his first look at the real world outside. He was surprised. The window faced a blank wall. The man asked the nurse what could have compelled his deceased roommate to describe such wonderful things outside the window. The nurse responded that the man was blind and could not even see the wall. She said, perhaps he just wanted to make you happy. Now, there comes the anticlimax story, which very beautifully says that when this man who shifted his bed next to the window, he got up, with a lot of effort, he pulled himself up and tried to see the window. And at that moment, and at that moment, he realized that there were just brick walls outside, there was no view. So she asked the nurse, what had made this man ask for this, give me this lovely description when there's just a wall here. To this, the nurse replied, this man who used to describe you things from outside the window was a blind man and he could hardly see things. So maybe she said that why he was doing this maybe to make you feel happy because he could see the happiness, the eagerness, the waiting in you that you showed for that one particular hour. You were there desperately waiting for that 1 hour when he would get up and describe the scene from outside the window. So now comes the reflection. Let's read it. There is nothing more satisfying than to see someone smile and to know that you are the reason behind that smile. Spread happiness and bring sunshine in the life of others. When you make others happy, you are seen as a positive and happy person. It helps you build strong, loving relationships. The easiest path to happiness lies in making others happy. So now the final verdict is if you make others happy, there lies the true happiness. Because nothing is complete till you really look forward in making others. So that was a lovely story. And we'll take up the question answers. We still have a lot of time. The meanings, please go through it. Okay. Answer the following questions. What did the two men sharing the hospital room with each other talk about? Just a second, Chief. Mark from here. Answer one. And the answer is, please bring it to the main screen. Who's this large gallery who's coming in every now and then? Children, keep an eye on him. If you see this large gallery also, please remove him. Okay. How should I bring this? Again, large gallery has joined. Who's this large gallery here? Okay, so please mark the answer. The men talked for hours on end. They spoke of their wives and families, their homes, their jobs, their military service, where they had, where is it? My line is gone, where they had been on holidays, on a holiday, etc. This is your answer, A1. Did you get it? Just a second. Let me go to screen sharing and then things will be more better. So here we are. A1. The men talked for hours on end. They spoke on their wives and families, their homes, their jobs, their military service, where they had been on a holiday, etc. This is your A1. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Coming to A2. What did the man sitting beside the window do to make other man happy? Answer. Can you see this last paragraph? This is your answer too. The man sat by the window and described to his roommate how the window overlooked a park with a lovely lake. Ducks and swans played on water while children sailed their model boats. Answer A2 for this. Coming to A3. When the other man sat by the window for the first time, what was he surprised to see?
Ma'am, a brick wall.
Answer A3 is here. He was surprised. The window faced a blank wall. The Still here only, sorry. He was surprised. The man was surprised as there was a window which faced a blank wall. Okay. Next, question number 4. The first man was blind and could not even see the wall outside the window. Still, why did he describe all the wonderful things to his roommate? So you write, the first man was blind and could not even see the wall outside the window. Still, he described all the wonderful things to his roommate because he just wanted to make the other man, instead of you will write the other man. Instead of you will write the other man happy. He just wanted to make the other man happy. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for responding. Answer question number 5. Shared grief is half the sorrow, but happiness when shared is doubled. Explain in your own words. Now, for this, you will just write this complete reflection as your answer number 5. Okay? This complete reflection. Okay? This you can also attempt in your own words. For the exam point of view, let me also tell you that in the exam, during the exam, if the crux of the lesson is clear to you, for morals exam, I am lenient enough, my English is good enough to listen to whatever answer you give me. Okay? So there is no need to worry that you are going to mug up these answers. No, if you can write in your own words, you are most welcome. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Let's Let's do the fill in the blanks with correct words. And children, I'm sorry I have not done this beforehand. I should have done this homework beforehand, but I was preoccupied with certain other things. There is tremendous dash in making others happy. There is tremendous happiness. The first blank is happiness. Okay. In making others happy despite our own. Just turn over and see the first. Despite our own situations. Did you get it? The man's
Yes,
room.
ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. The man's roommate on the other side of the room could close his eyes and imagine the dash scene. Just see the paragraph in the lesson and tell me what scene. Could close his eyes
Ma'am,
and do.
picture is seen.
Where is it,
Ma'am,
child?
picture Ma'am, picture is seen. Ma'am, verse number 71.
Okay, okay, okay. Picturesque scene. Picturesque. Picture, Picturesque, picturesque scene. One afternoon, the man by the window described a dash passing by. Now, what passing?
Ma'am, parade.
Very good. Parade pass. Where was it written? चलो you ढूंढ लेना. Parade. Okay. Now, the man who died was dash and could not even see, was blind, could not even see the dash outside the window.
Ma'am, wall.
Wall,
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
wall.
wall.
wall outside the window. Spread dash and bring dash in the life of others. Spread happiness, isn't it? And bring.
Ma'am, light in the life of others.
Okay, spread happiness and bring sunshine in the life of others. See here. Can you see? Here it is written sunshine. Okay. So we'll write here sunshine. Though in the exam you can write light. Okay. In the exam you can fill up with your own words. Was this clear? Is this much clear to each one of you?
Yes,
Now,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
candles can be lighted from a single candle and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Explain this statement in the light of the above story. Now, here for this, I would like you all to listen to your point of view, what you have to say in your own words. You'll write. Explain the statement in the light of the above story. Now, here I will just explain what you'll write as an answer. Okay. So, your answer is that in the context of this story, the man next to the window, he was kind and generous enough to bring happiness in the life of the man who was lying on bed by simply narrating the incidents that the view outside the window, which gave him immense joy. The other person waited desperately for that 1 hour. And the person next to the window, though he was blind, he made an effort to bring that joy to the other person by doing this. And so this statement stands valid for this story. Do you believe that the best way to be happy is to make others happy? Yes, I do believe that you, by helping others, uh, by giving them happiness, you are making others happy. And how? Because again, you can say, if you spread happiness, if you are giving in your attitude, the happiness is such a lovely perfume. Please switch off. Is such a lovely perfume, which happiness is that perfume which spreads on everyone. You cannot just spill the perfume on one or two. It is such a lovely perfume called happiness. Okay. So this is what they're telling you. Coming to the third part of the question. वेरी गुड. तुम जैसी हजार अनंत त्रिवेदी. निकलो यहाँ से तुम जरा. The man sitting by the window was himself in a difficult situation, but he still chose to make the roommate happy. Why do you think he chose to do so? He did so very simply because he wanted. May I close your mic? He did this because he very well knew that it is only through a small little gesture of telling what is happening outside would make his friend who's lying on the bed happy. So he did all that just to bring joy in his life. Now, though I have explained these answers and it is a recorded video explanation, if you cannot get the answer, you are free to write down what I just narrated. Otherwise, I would prefer if you all write it in your own words. Coming to the fourth one, a lot has been said about spreading sunshine and making others happy. List any five benefits of making others happy and spreading happiness around us. I would like each one of you to do this. Please write here, do this, and you'll be sending me the 5 points how you make others feel happy. Okay, maybe one I'll tell you. You make me happy once you are decent and disciplined and you attend the class. Once you are listening to me perfectly. Once you are not disrupting the class, you make me happy. So now, how will you write? I make an effort that once we have our online classes, I do not behave in any inappropriate manner. I stay disciplined and attentive. This is the smallest thing which I